do welcome you to Salisbury. And in order to give you a proper welcome tonight, I'm going to introduce to you Margaret Lutz, Mayor Pro Tem of Salisbury, North Carolina, who will give you a formal welcome. We could not have this great event every year if it were not for the efforts of some very nice people, not only here in Salisbury, but around the country, getting ready to do this kind of program that runs 3 days out of our year. So we would like to recognize some of those folks now. Some may not be present, but we want to mention them anyway. Throughout the year, people work to make this weekend happen, and I think you can tell by the last couple of days that it has indeed happened. Of course, all of us know the first two, or you probably wouldn't even be here. Say hello to this year's General Chairman, Karen Morris, and our Program Director, Barbara Lockwood. Would you please stand?
Wasn't here today, but went down to Charlotte, picked up Tom and Michelle Mees, so that's what I've added to it. So Tom and Michelle, welcome. Glad Chris made it from time. We're still looking for Peter, and I hope you catch him. Usually, in my last job, before I took this one, for my last paying job, when I walked on the stage, I got a tremendous amount of applause because the president of the division did $2 billion in sales, and we had 16,000 employees. Karen, the second year in a row, Karen Mars, Program Chairman, 1990 NSSA Awards Program. Thank you, John.
Very quickly, I'm going to introduce some folks to you now, and if you would, I'm going to introduce you by groups where you are in groups. I don't think there is anyone here from the Adolf Coors Corporation, but we do want to recognize them for all that they've done. From the American Greyhound Track Operators Association, William Gresser, George Johnson, and Richard Winning. Would the three of you stand, please? From the American Quarter Horse Association, Jim Barnett, Bill Brewer, and Don Treadway. So there you go. From Bell, Rick Harris, not here in the blue. From Coca-Cola Salisbury, Bill Chandler, Eddie Kress, Ronnie Eisenhower, and Barry Cummings. From Coca-Cola USA, Gary Azar, Sylvia Harris, Robert K. Martin, Stennis Schatz, and Charlie Templeton. Charlie was supposed to be sent to Saudi Arabia, but he only got as far as Germany. And so where the others were desert rats, he's a Germany rat, they call him. So we're glad to have Charlie back with us anyway. You'll get a chance to meet him later, but from Johnston's Don Bills. I don't believe there's anyone here tonight for Miller Brewing, but they've done a fantastic job for us. So for Miller Brewing. From the Orange Minerals Tobacco Company, Bob Moore. We want to mention all the help and support that we get from the Salisbury Post, though I'm not sure, except for some photographers, that we have anybody representing them. Anybody from Salisbury
services to aid the children in the Middle East. The diligent efforts of Executive Director Claude Hampton, the tireless energy and enthusiasm of Hall of Fame President Bill Mason, the generous contributions of our sponsors, the Foundation Board of Directors, the NSSA Committee headed up by General Chairwoman Karen Morris and Program Coordinator Barbara Lockett have brought us to this moment. Our challenge for the 90s is to continue the legacy of our founders, to see that NSSA grows stronger and more vibrant. Membership must increase. Participation and commitment must increase. And service to our membership must increase. And the doors of the NSSA Hall of Fame must open wide for sports fans everywhere. The winning strategies for the 90s will require an investment from us all. President Kennedy once said, and I quote, "The irresistible march of history moves forward. We must take the leadership in the great march or be forever left behind. Now is the time to refreshen our spirits and stir our hearts for the tasks which lie ahead as we celebrate the past and awaken the future." Fellow sportscasters and sportswriters, this is our National Association. Let us all make our mark in strengthening it and preserving it. With all sportscasters and sportswriters, now please stand and face your hosts and sponsors. Tonight we say thank you to our sponsors and our hosts here in Salisbury. Again, to our hosts and our sponsors, we dedicate ourselves to the National Sportscasters and Sportswriters Association. The future is ours to shape, and we will respond as champions. At this time, I'd like to ask the sportscasters to stand in the right line in their assigned order so we may present the well-deserved awards. Would you please assume your position? I'm pleased to be assisted by some lovely co-eds from Dakota College, and will be helping the recent Mrs. North Carolina, Brennaman Naval. Please welcome to the stage, Brennaman Naval. We begin with the state sportscaster winners, and we have a tie from the state of Alabama, two-time winner from WAFF at Huntsville. He's hosted the Wim Sanderson Show, Bruce Cunningham. Also from the Alabama Sports Network, a two-time winner working out of Birmingham, the voice of the Crimson Tide, and the voice of the NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, Eli Gold. Heritage Cable out of Newcastle, Indianapolis, the voice of the Indiana Hoosiers. He's called 3 national championships and a member of the board of directors, Don Fischer. Out of Iowa, first-time winner, KGGO in Des Moines. 5 years with the Iowa Hawkeyes, who went to the NCAAs in basketball and the Rose Bowl in football this year, Larry Morgan. First-time winner with KSDK-TV in St. Louis, sports anchor and reporter for the last 3 years. A welcome for Drew Smith. From Lincoln, Nebraska, 3-time winner, KFOR in Lincoln. 2 years with the Nebraska basketball and 7 years as sideline announcer for Cornhusker football, Larry Moehlenbrink. New Hampshire, we have a tie with WKXL in Concord, a 12-time winner, 24 years covering the University of New Hampshire football and basketball, the voice of the Wildcats, Jeannotte. Out of New Hampshire, with WKXL Radio, a first-time winner, 20 years serving as play-by-play announcer for high school hockey, Jim River. Out of New Jersey, a first-time winner with WHWH in Princeton. 6 years, sports director and play-by-play voice of Pete Carrill's Princeton Tigers, Dave Brody. Out of New Mexico, a 7-time winner with KOAT-TV in Albuquerque, getting set to race off to Indianapolis to follow Albuquerque's own Big Al and Little Al Unser in this year's 500-mile race, Terry McDermott. Out of the great state of North Carolina, first-time winner with WRAL-TV in Raleigh, 20 years with the station 11 as anchor, Tom Suter. Out of North Dakota, a first-time winner with KFYR-TV in Bismarck, gearing up for the June 3rd fight when WBA light heavyweight champion Virgil Hill meets Tommy Hitman Hearns in Las Vegas, Lee Timmerman. Ohio, a 9-time winner with WLW in Cincinnati, began his career working 5 years right here in Salisbury with WSTP. 18 years and 3 World Series championships as the voice of the Cincinnati Reds, Marty. Missouri, goes next to the Kentucky Derby, Lew Freedman. We all want your job. Out of Colorado, 21-time winner of the Denver Post, 30 years in Denver, former NSSA president and the board of director who just covered his 25th Super Bowl, and that's all they've had. Dick Connor. Out of Delaware, 4-time winner with the News Journal in Wilmington, 14 years covering the University of Delaware Fight Blue Hens, and an outstanding golf writer, Tom Mees. Out of Georgia, a 15-time winner with the Journal in Atlanta. In his 42 years in Atlanta, he's covered 42 Masters and is about to cover his 42nd Kentucky Derby. A board of director, former president, and NSSA Hall of Famer, Berman Fischer. Out of Indiana, a first-time winner with the Indianapolis Star, feature writer and columnist, covered Indiana to a national basketball championship in '87 and Notre Dame to a football championship in '88. Phil Richards. Out of Kansas, a 3-time winner, Teegins Capital Journal, managing sports editor, 18 years covering the Kansas Jayhawks, Pete Guerin. Out of Missouri, a 2-time winner, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, columnist and feature writer who loves boxing, wrote on the NCAA investigation of the Missouri Tigers basketball program, Tom Wheatley. Out of New Hampshire, a 2-time winner with the Union leader in Manchester, 10 years sports writer covering auto racing, Boston Bruins hockey, and high school sports, Kevin Provencher. Out of New York, a 6-time winner with the New York Times, sports columnist who also wrote Barbara Mandrell's book, Get to the Heart, a bestseller for 19 weeks, George Vesey. Out of North Carolina, a 4-time winner with the Greensboro News Record, 13 years as columnist, and he wrote on all 9 minor league baseball teams in the state this past year. He loved watching Duke knock off UNLV on its way to the national championship. But he says NC State's '83 title is still his most memorable. Will Browning. We have a tie in the state of Oklahoma. A first-time winner from the Daily Oklahoman in Oklahoma City. Follows Oklahoma and Oklahoma State and would like Minder. With the Tennessee and the National, covers the Vanderbilt Commodores, and he's an auto racing columnist. Larry Woody. Second straight win of the San Antonio Express News. 17 years as columnist covering the Super Bowl, Final Four, the NBA Finals, Kevin O'Keefe. Out of Vermont, a three-time winner with the Rutland Herald, writer and columnist covering high school and college athletics and golf, Bob Bredette. Virginia, first-time winner with the Roanoke Times and World News, a 35-year veteran, former president of the Basketball Writers of America, and a 1990 inductee into the Basketball Writers Hall of Fame with our Bob Hamill, now a member of the NSSA Board of Directors, Bill Brill. Out of West Virginia, an 8-time winner with the Intelligencer in Wheeling. Works on National High School Bowl and compiles and selects Street Smith's High School All-American. A member of the Board of Directors, Doug Hunt. Out of Wyoming, a first-time winner with the Star Tribune in Casper. 13 years with the paper covering all 72 high schools in the state. And her husband, Scott, is watching their 2 children, 7-year-old Joe and 8-month-old Molly, so she could be with us this weekend. Saturday, now, if I may, one more round of applause in unison for all of our state-winning sports writers. I have one more order of business. Okay. May I ask Bob Hamill to come forward? Bob is one of the most respected men in sports writing, and for the last 2 years, he has served as president of NSSA. His leadership has been strong and unselfish. The members of the Board of Directors would like to show you our appreciation by presenting you, Bob, with this plaque. A round of applause. Now may I reintroduce to the microphone Carl Hale.
Now you know why he's president. When ESPN started broadcasting on September 7, 1979, they started Sports Center. The anchor then, as now, is Tom Mees. He has also served as the network's National Hockey League studio host reporter, has hosted 2 ESPN studio shows, Inside the USFL and This Week in the NHL, and he has provided sports from the World Series. Tom has been a sports director at WILM Radio in Wilmington, Delaware, where he did the play-by-play for the University of Delaware football and basketball. And he covered professional baseball and basketball while he was there. In 1978, he became sports director at WECA TV in Tallahassee, where he produced and delivered twice nightly sportscasts and handled the play-by-play duties for Florida State football and Florida State basketball.
was just handed out 30 seconds ago. Seems that Chris Berman isn't quite here yet. He missed the road on the way to the airport. But Chris, wherever you are, don't worry about it. I've been authorized to accept the award in your stead. And as somebody in our Sports Center past once said, try and collect. I got 5 minutes to draw and quarter you before I honor you, and I'm going to take advantage of it right now. I got to tell you. This is a very historic occasion, ladies and gentlemen. Never have I been in one hall anywhere in the face of the earth, or Bristol, Connecticut, where we've had this many sports writers and sportscasters in the same room, and all out war, or at least a few skirmishes didn't break out. So you see, there is hope for peace in our time. This is also a very historic occasion. As I was being driven through the lovely town of Salisbury this afternoon, or this evening I should say, I was reminded that George Washington once slept here. I was reminded that Andrew Jackson actually spent some time here on the campus of Catawba College way back when. But the real reason this is a historic occasion is because what I said at the top isn't true. Chris Berman is here on time. That truly is a first, as his co-workers can so ably attest. Actually, I have maybe the toughest job of all, talking about somebody and helping to honor somebody that I've worked with for a dozen years. It's truly an honor when Chris asked me to be here, but I must tell you, I thought they had the wrong guy when I opened up this booklet. I turned to page 8, which has all the pictures in here. Now I gotta tell you, are they honoring Berman? Are they honoring? This guy is not in the building. This man is not in the hall. I know, because I knew Chris Berman when. I knew him when he had hair on his head and a little less around the middle. This is the guy. I told you I was going to get you, and I did. When you know he's the only one left. It was almost 12 years ago that I sat daydreaming in the ESPN newsroom. Sorry, Mr. Poinson, I didn't want you to hear this, but it's true. For the 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time show. Chris and I were co-acting at the time. And we were watching the Dodgers-Astros game on the TV. And just as the national anthem was beginning at Dodger Stadium, the leadoff batter for the Astros was Jose Cruz. And the director in the truck, as soon as the gentleman who was singing the national anthem started to say, Jose, can you see? They took a shot of Jose Cruz. And I was feeling rather silly. I said, Chris, look, covering the U.S. Open Golf Championships. He skipped that to be an usher at my wedding, and I'll never forget that. And over the course of the 12 years, when you share so many professional and personal experiences with someone, they can't help but grow on you, even if they wear a helmet can. I've been thinking about the best way to characterize our relationship, and I guess it's this. I don't think that Chris is just a co-worker, but also really in a way is a brother. He'd do anything for me, and I know that. And I'd do anything for him, and he knows that too. Last year, you, his peers, honored Chris Berman with your Sportscaster of the Year award. And today, you bring him back to receive it one more time. That's the best laugh I've gotten since I've been out. It is my privilege and my honor, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce, for the second year running, the Sportscaster of the Year, ESPN's Chris Berman. Again, I used to think the NSSA was a real sharp organization. But by voting for me for the second straight year, I can honestly say I have my serious doubts. This is an honor that is better than the Emmys. The Emmys are on TV. Heck, we had them on this year. They look at 10 minutes of tape and they vote on it. I don't know what they is, but that's what they do. You look at a year's worth of work. Obviously, the rose-tinted glasses if you voted for me, but it's you can win 10 Emmys and it doesn't equal one of these. So I really am humbled to be up here again. You honored me beyond words, but I'm up here so I have to speak. That's what they told me to do. What company we're in? I know Vin couldn't be here, but putting Vin Scully in the Hall of Fame. Peter Gammons, we'll have to figure that one out where he is. I mean, I like his work so much that I actually signed off with him a couple of weeks ago on a hectic telecast. I don't know that I even belong with these sort of folks, but you know what? I got news for you. We're not going to listen back. All right? We've applauded a lot of folks tonight. You know what? Let's give one more round of applause. Applaud yourselves. The winners from all the states, the winners from both writers and broadcasters. You're the same as us. I applaud all of you. We're one of the 2 or 3% of the populace that does exactly what we want. We're very lucky. Now, with that being said, the bomb hit here would take about 20 minutes to replace all of them. Now, I take this vote to mean that I'm thorough and certainly not segregated.
sure that our kids, Derek and Doug, are the best they can be. I am too, but I don't have to put the time in that I need. Kathy puts the time in, both of us, and know all of us have wives or husbands that do the same thing for us. So thanks, Pat. I accept this award also on behalf of ESPN. You trust us. We fooled you, but you trust us, okay? We make you smile a little bit, and I'll tell you what makes us smile. When we read or we hear people say, you know, your NFL show might be better than the other guys. But I can't live without all the baseball that ESPN is doing live, because in addition to listening to folks like Marty and your local teams, you're able to cut in, find out what everything that's going on in the world of baseball every night. We love the comment because we didn't win. Can't believe ESPN didn't do the NCAA tournament. It was the first round. Boy, that makes us feel pretty good. Where is hockey? Where is the USA? In other words, the things that we have brought to you, by honoring me today, you honor our company. We truly are the little engine that could. And I know we've got the big time. I know we have NFL. I know we have baseball. But you know what? We still do it. We still do it our way. And the minute we don't do it our way, please give me a call. Collect. I'll accept it. I promise you. The boss, Steve Warren's got big pockets. He'll accept the call for me. It's not a problem. 12 years ago, ESPN was a pipe dream. 10 years ago, we were used as a nightlight. Connie and I used to do the 2:30 to 3 a.m. shows. We'd be either fathers and mothers feeding babies in the middle of the night, or we were used as a nightlight. So if you had to go to the bathroom, you could see where you were going. Now here I am for you for the second straight year. And truly I'm overwhelmed. I really mean it. Play-by-play was a new experience for me last year. New because, you know, when you're in the studio and you say things like you could go all the way, you know it's going to be a touchdown. When I say I know it's out of the park when you're doing highlights in the studio. But guess what? When you do a game, you think it's out. You take a shot that it's out. And it took me about 3 games last year when I cranked up one on Kevin Mitchell that I was sure was going to the bat. And the little candles beat it down and it was caught for a routine out. I said, you know what? I better make a little change here. Stuff works fine on tape, but when the guy sits there and pounds his glove and makes the catch on the warning track, it doesn't make me clairvoyant. So, subtle change in the 4th game. When the ball goes deep, all of a sudden Kevin Mitchell slugs it deep to right. Back goes Tony Gwynn. He either makes the catch or it's out of the park. It's called covering behind barrier. Of course, I said this last year, for those who weren't here. Back really is history in baseball. It comes from Red Barber in 1947. John Fritos catching Joe DiMaggio in the World Series. That wasn't one of Red's calling cards. This was more of a doctor, but it's back goes John Fritos, makes a one-handed catch against the bullpen. Oh, doctor. That's where it came from. Then we expanded to America's Cup. We went we used that. And the nicknames, some of which Tommy has given me, I get letters from all over the country, but I'll give you my current all nickname team just because we're here. Wally Absorbi Joyner would be the first baseman for the Angels. Roberto Remember the Alvar, being a history major, he's my second baseman. Walt Three Blind Weiss, having kids, he's my shortstop. Terry Pickett, the Pendleton, I was scared to death of Edgar Allan Poe, he's my third baseman. Tony Jalapeno, we all like to put Mexican food, he's our catcher. Our outfielders would be George Taco Bell, St. Maine. Vaughn Purple Haze, I'm a rocker, this just in. And Sammy St. Sosa for little baseball history. My starting pitcher would be the hero of the World Series, Jose Blame It on Rico. Or a Merchant of Venice, for you Shakespeare fans, I might use that one. My relief pitcher would be Jay Thurston B. Howell, because we all love Gilligan's Island. He actually introduced his wife to me as Lovey Howell and an all-star game, this is true. My manager, just in this week, Jim Bella Fergosi from the Bills. Now, the one good thing about doing play-by-play is that you get the nickname third base coach. Usually when you do highlights, you don't have time for that, but third base coach of the Dodgers, Joey Malfatano, he's got to be cast of Malfatano. It has to be. So 2 Edgar Allan Poe. I think, and I know we're running late, as I said last year, take it out of weather. First man, I think what's most fun about our job is the people we meet. People like us here. This is really who we're all. Whether we're big in the national scene, or whether we're in Anchorage, jetting more miles than I ever dreamed about. I thought I was all over the place. That we can actually, A, subject the country to our sense of humor. That's very dangerous. B, reach out and touch some folks. For some reason, I thought the Buffalo Bills were going to be a great team a few years ago. They've now given me the key to the city 3 times. I have one to the front door, the back door, and the electric garage door open. All I do is say the Buffalo Bills will win. It's amazing, but that's what touches us when we do our job. Fans in Buffalo sent me a piece of the goalpost they tore down this year when they beat Miami. They sent me a Buffalo town. They even had Chris Berman Day for the Bisons. Normally on Friday night they get 20,000 people. They had Chris Berman Day, they get 12,000 people. It was great. But pitching for the Bisons last year was Jerry Rolls-Royce, ending up his 22-year career. Surprise, that's the guy who I worked with tonight with now. So it's a small world and it's a great return. We are very fortunate to be in it. I know I am. I think that the pro football coverage that we've done over the years has been a lot of fun. I don't know whether this was a ringing endorsement, but in the Pro Bowl locker room a couple of years ago, Lawrence Taylor said, "Hey, Chris, this is trouble. I don't want to get the cab. I don't want to do anything else." Did you ever play pro football? Because he was sitting there with Dolman and a couple of the other guys in the NFC locker room. I said, "Well, no, I'm a big guy. I started talking back at 15. I figured that would be the way to go." I learned later. He said, "Well, we've just taken a vote in here among all the Pro Bowl players that we've said, of all the sportscasters, you're the sportscaster most likely to have won to play, but we can't remember who you are." I don't know if those are endorsement or not. This is a better one that you give me today. In a nutshell, we're all here because we work hard, we're dedicated, and I think in our own way, we like to have fun. You know what? If that's not good enough, then the world is in trouble. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for having me back here as well.
Words about a recipient of Sportswriter of the Year. It's really unfortunate, and I'm not kidding around this time, that Peter Gammons of the Boston Globe, Sports Illustrated, and also, of course, the last few years, a very major contributor with us at ESPN, could not be here tonight. He had the best of intentions, I assure you, but his schedule is just as hectic, if not more so, than anyone else's at this time of year. And this is true. He called up one of the directors here today and left this message on the beeper. Can't come in when I'm supposed to. I've changed flights. Click. Didn't know what airline, didn't know what time he's getting in. But the thought was there. But I tell you, they asked me to say a few words on Peter's behalf and graciously accept the award on his behalf. And to me, the people I admire most, either the sports writing and the sportscasting side of the sports information business, are the people that I learned from. And even before Peter Gammons became a major contributor to ESPN's Major League Baseball coverage, even before that time, my assignments covering spring training, regular season, and postseason baseball, he was always the one guy, the first guy I sought out if he was in the area to ask questions about things that I was curious about. I could learn a lot from this guy. And if you find somebody in this business you can learn a lot about, you ought to stick with them. Because you can never know too much. Because just when you think you know it all, you make a mistake, and the person reading the newspaper or watching the TV or listening to radio will nail you dead. You have to know what you're talking about. And that, to me, is the sign of a true professional. One time, a few years ago, being a hockey fan and growing up in the Philadelphia area as I did, the Flyers were retiring a number of one of their best hockey players, a fellow by the name of Gary Dornhoff. And I remember at the ceremony at the Spectrum, when his number was retired, Jeannotte, a longtime play-by-play man of the Philadelphia
is to design a ring to give to the national winners. So our local representative, Don Bill, is going to come up now to make that presentation. Please welcome Don Bill. wife Nancy have a child born about this time last year, and there are also 2 grown children. Bill is a busy man. We're happy to have him with us here tonight. Bill Milsaps.
Blackie Sherrod invited the English language up on the porch, gave it some 4-arm chili and Dr. Pepper, and sent it out to make the sports world laugh. For more than 40 years, William Morris Sherrod has been a national sports writing figure and a Texas treasure. First, he worked for the old Fort Worth Press, later for the Dallas Times Herald, now for the Dallas Morning News. Though he has not been as widely syndicated as some, no sports writer in this country is more respected by his peers than Blackie. I recently informed Dan Teegins, author of Semi-Tough, Dead Solid Purple, and others, that Blackie would be inducted tonight into the NSSA Hall of Fame. His response was, "What took him so long?" Jenkins is only one of a host of fine writers whose styles were influenced by Blackie Sherrod. And when I mean influenced, I mean they stole the stuff from Blackie. What is Blackie Sherrod's style? Rather than describe it to you as a literary critic might, Lord knows I'm qualified on that count. Rather, I should give you some samples of pure Blackie. Here's Blackie on the persistence of television producers in sports. You shut the doors, they come in the windows. You shut the windows, they come in the doors. The next time the Marines won't mount Suribachi, never mind the rifle. Send a platoon of TV producers, and they'll have the flag up and 4 Japanese pilots underneath singing, "Jesus won't be for a Sunday," while they're still in a light to film. Here's Blackie on a heavyweight boxing contender whose credentials keep out suspect. He has everything a boxer needs except speed, stamina, a punch, and ability to take punishment. In other words, he owns a pair of shorts. Here's Blackie on an incident, the late night incident involving Bobby Lane, the old quarterback that never met a glass of scotch in his life. After indulging in some heavy late night research with scholarly friends, Bobby was driving back to his hotel, innocently enough, when he was sideswiped by several empty cars lurking at curbside. That's Blackie's print. And I want to tell you how hard it was to take 3 rounds. In person, in a social setting, he's different. He's less world-class storyteller than he is a world-class listener. Of course, in his circle of friends, he has to be quiet. When you hang out with Herman Fischer, Dan Foster, Tim Murray, Edwin Pope, Barry Terrain, and Bill Milsaps, you can't get a word in edgewise anyway. And as Blackie once said of himself, "I'm quickly mistaken for a footstool and I'm getting damn tired of it." At the risk of offending Blackie with sentimentality, his friends know that he is as good a man as he is a writer. As far as I know, his only shortcoming
gets introduced, or I lose bathroom privileges for a week. And at my age, that amounts to capital punishment. But I am certainly indebted to Joyce for her support, her encouragement, her bookkeeping. I may really be indebted for the bookkeeping. She was a bookkeeper for my friend Willie Nelson. Bill Milsaps drove down here from Richmond with wife Nancy and my godchild, Sissy, just turned her first birthday. Personifies what I've enjoyed most about 40 years in the press box. Has been the bond, friendship, the appreciation of the other writers in my generation. Somebody mentioned one time that in a newspaper business you meet the most interesting people, and they're all in the newspaper business. That sounds a little egotistical, but I have found that the biggest charge I have received out of 40 years has been people like Milsaps, Jim Murray, the most courageous man I know, Eddie Gold, and my old and true friend, Vernon Fischer. I always thought that the most pleasure is not the people you write about, or the people you write for. It's the people you write with. And I certainly agree with Chris in that estimation. That has been a thrill to me. I would certainly congratulate the two national winners, Chris and Peter. I agree with Tom that they are true professionals. And after all, I think that's what all of us would maybe like to have on our tombstone. He was a pro. For a while there, we didn't qualify. We didn't make enough money to threaten our amateur standing. Congratulations also to the state winners, especially the two gentlemen from my state, Brad Sham and Kevin O'Keefe, to whom I have the greatest respect. And I'm sure if I could counsel, if there is counsel to some of the younger members, hell, Herman, they're all younger, is that it's
all come from the greatest nation in the world. Let's go ahead and recognize it as we say